Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Courtney Ryan, and today we're going to be talking about the fact that nobody thinks they're average, or most people do not think that they are average. Is this confidence or is this delusion? And what inspired this video was me posting a TikTok from one of my girl interviews. To say the comments were concerning and eye-opening is actually an understatement. So we're going to be going through some of the comments. I'm going to share some with you, and then we're going to talk about this idea of average and delusion and all of this stuff that's going on in the media and really just with our society today. You are not going to want to miss me reading the comments, trust me. But before we get into that, I'm really excited that today's video is sponsored by AG1 by Athletic Greens. Big thank you to AG1 by Athletic Greens for sponsoring today's video. AG1 is a comprehensive all-in-one foundational nutrition that serves every single physical demand, no matter how busy your schedule is. Sustainable routines are key. AG1 is a daily micro-habit that makes it easy to absorb key nutrients, lead a healthy lifestyle, and feel your best no matter what the day holds. One scoop, 1 minute, once a day, every day. AG1 has become an essential part of my morning routine that I genuinely look forward to. My AG1 minute is something that I make sure I never skip. It's incredibly convenient and sets the nutritional foundation for my day. I've actually been drinking AG1 for a couple of months now, and I've seen a notable improvement in my mental health, my focus, my energy, and my digestion. AG1 includes key energy players, all synergistically working to maintain energy levels, support adrenal health, and perform optimally. AG1 also includes vital adaptogens that act to support adrenal health and recovery when the mind needs stress management from burnout or overworking. And I actually really like the way it tastes, which I wasn't expecting, to be totally transparent. I love it so much, I've been recommending it to absolutely everyone, all the girls in my workout classes, my friends, my family. I'm obsessed. And so glad that I added AG1 to my morning routine. If you're interested in checking out AG1, tap my link to get a 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D3K2 and 5 travel packs free with your first purchase. You can't put a price tag on your own health. So now let me read some of the comments to you. Average has nothing to do with me. Some of us don't want to be average. LOL, okay, but these are based on averages and I'm not looking for an average man. I don't give an F. I want my man to be pulling 500K. My soul left my body when I read that one. It's funny, all the people in here with their personal stories of making 6 figures, like that changes the average percent. Happy hunting. I actually really liked this comment, and I think it accurately represents what was going on in the comments. Everyone was, saying that they know someone who makes 600K or 200K, so they assume that's the average. Anyway, we're going to talk about that in a little bit. No one can survive with less than 70K. Let's be very for real. Are we okay? If you can't survive on 70K, you have a spending problem. I understand that things are expensive. I understand that prices have increased, rent's gone up, groceries have gone up, but $70,000 would change a lot of people's lives. I made $35,000 at my corporate job, below the average. And I was living just fine because I was saving my money. I wasn't buying all these designer things, spending all my money on clothes, driving a car I couldn't afford, paying for an apartment that I couldn't afford. Be for real. If you can't survive on 70K, you have a spending problem. Ay. When I say, are we okay, I'm genuinely asking this question because I don't think that we are. So what is the average? The average is an amount, standard, level, or rate regarded as casual or ordinary. I found this funny thing that I wanted to read to you guys because it's on the topic of what we're discussing today. It says, on a scale of 1 to 10, you probably think you're a 7, and you wouldn't be alone. While it's impossible for most people to be above average for a specific quality, people think that they are better than most people in many areas, from charitable behavior to work performance, to attractive level, to salary. I mean, you name it. The phenomenon known as illusory superiority is so stubbornly persistent that psychologists would be surprised if it didn't show up in their studies, says David Dunning, a psychologist at Cornell who has studied the effect for decades. It happens for many reasons. Others are too polite to say what they really think, and competent people lack the skills to assess their abilities accurately, and such self-delusions can actually protect people's mental health. Dunning told Live Science. And I really think a lot of this is a societal issue and this narrative that social media is kind of continuously pushing on us. We've been conditioned to believe that being average is being a failure, that it's a bad thing. We are consistently told to stand out, to strive for more, to be great. Rarely, or actually never, do we hear, be okay with being average. And I think striving for more is great. I think trying to make the most out of your life and yourself and your purpose is a wonderful thing. I have many thoughts about this topic, but is being average really as bad as people are making it seem? Doesn't it just mean that you're normal? What's wrong with normal? The truth is that most of us are average. That's why it's the average. It's also very possible to be average in most areas of your life and excel in other ones. And I'll give you a personal example here. I would consider myself to be an average cook. I cook every day, I follow recipes, I put in effort for sure, but I'm certainly not a chef, or above average in any way. But does this mean that I'm a bad cook? No, it doesn't. I'm actually pretty average at most things that I do, and then there's a select few things that I excel in. I'm content with this and realistic when it comes to my strengths and my weaknesses, which is something that I think a lot of people have a hard time doing. So the question is, does being delusional make us more confident or more capable? There's a trend going around telling people to be delusional, and people are taking it very seriously, and they're being delusional. While I do think that your mindset is really important, I've talked about the scarcity versus abundance mindset before, and I think that, your thoughts do have an impact on the way that you live your life and the things that you achieve, and optimism can certainly help. It doesn't solve everything. There is no magic pill or magic spell that will send a fraction of a percent man who is over 6 feet making $1 million a year knocking on your front door. Wish there was, for all of your sakes, so that we could all be living happily ever after, but that's not the case. So yes, I think being confident in yourself and your ability is helpful for life, obviously. But being straight up delusional, ignoring statistics, and constantly thinking that you are the exception to the rule is a completely different story. I believe that unrealistic expectations, delusion, or illusory superiority are what keep a lot of people unhappy and disappointed in the long term, time and time again. Believe it or not, there is such a thing as toxic positivity, and it can actually be incredibly harmful. It can cause people to neglect exploring their weaknesses or areas of their life that they would like to improve on, or challenges. Being honest with yourself, taking accountability, and telling the truth is how we grow and evolve as humans, and how we face our weaknesses, our challenges, and actually improve the areas of our life that we want to improve. I don't know about you, but I'd rather be a realist than someone who's in denial. Toxic positivity and this whole be delusional thing is slowly but surely eliminating critical thinking and realism from our society, which in my opinion is rather concerning. And I'm not telling you to be a negative Nelly either. It doesn't have to go that far extreme in the other direction. Thinking everything will turn out bad is equally delusional as toxic positivity. I'm just suggesting to be realistic. Be realistic about what it is you're looking for and asking for in a partner, and at least know what you're asking for. Again, these girl interviews that I've done have really made me think about this topic and where it impacts other people's life besides just dating, but dating is a big one. If you're saying things like, I don't give an F, I want my man to be pulling 500K, or LOL, okay, but these are based on averages and I'm not looking for an average man. At least know what you're up against. At least know what it is you're asking for. If you're a girl who will only date a millionaire, understand the fraction of the percent that is. The point is not to make people look stupid or feel stupid. The point is just to educate and have people genuinely understand their expectations and the fact that they are probably being unrealistic, as most people are. And it adds a level of complexity when you're adding another person in, when it's not just based on you and your life, but it's also you expecting someone else to meet these requirements, these crazy requirements that you have, and not understanding how rare it is what you're asking for. And it was just insane to see everyone fighting with each other and all of the negative reaction. Instead of using it as a learning moment, people were just fighting with each other in the comments or putting each other down. And I just think if you're someone watching that makes above the median, or, maybe your husband or wife makes more than the median, you should feel lucky when you hear the statistics instead of fighting with each other and just being vile. And another important thing that I want to mention that I really realized after reading through those comments and seeing the reaction was that just because something is your experience doesn't mean that it's the average. It doesn't mean that it's the median. Just because you know a man who makes $500,000 does not mean most men make $500,000. Your personal experiences don't change the averages. They don't change the medians. They don't change the reality. And I think that's something that a lot of people really just cannot grasp. It's baffling to me. And I think it goes to show the fact that you can learn a lot about our society and people by what we don't know. And most people don't know the reality. Average has nothing to do with me. Some of us don't want to be average. I'm not looking for an average man. Okay, that's fine. That's your thing. You do whatever you want. I'm not telling you who to go for, who to like, what your standards or preferences should be. All I'm saying is if you're going to be unrealistic, you should at least know how rare it is what you're asking for. And when it comes to dating, it's extra tough because you're relying on another person, again, to kind of meet the criteria that you want, but also you can think you are the bee's knees 10 out of 10. That doesn't mean that every man will think that. Say I'm selling a house. I think this house is amazing. I think that it's worth $1 million, but the market is telling me differently. The buyers are telling me differently, and no one's buying the house because it's not worth $1 million. You can think that the house is worth $1 million, but clearly it's not. If the house is on the market for a year and no one's buying it, no one's offering you that much, and the Zestimate is telling you that it's worth $700,000, it's not worth $1 million. So you can sit in your delusion and your unsold house and think that it's worth $1 million, or you can say, okay, what can I do to make it worth $1 million? Or maybe I have to lower my expectations a little bit, and that's not going to kill me. I'm not trying to belittle people and compare them to houses, but I think this is something that we commonly do. We have these extreme checklists for the person that we want to be with that look like we're going to the supermarket, looks like we're going on a trip to Whole Foods, and yet we possess none of those qualities that we're requesting or expecting from a partner. You really have to be what you want to attract, and I know I say that in every single video that I make about this topic, but it's because it's so important. So do I think this be delusional thing is a good idea, or really honestly something that I would recommend a mindset you develop? No, I don't. Because, saying out loud that you're going to be a millionaire but not taking any of the steps required is not going to get you there. There's no magic pill, there's no magic spell, there's no magic manifestation or mantra that you're going to say that's going to magically make things happen for you. You have to put in effort, you have to take action, you got to be realistic. And I think a lot of us struggle with that. And that's because we're being pushed with this toxic positivity, be delusional, you deserve a millionaire, you're a bad bee, you're perfect, you're a 10 out of 10. Be real. And I really don't want to sound like a negative Nelly. I'm not trying to tell you guys to be negative or to think poorly of yourselves. That's not what I'm saying at all. So I hope it's not coming across that way. I'm just saying maybe be a little bit realistic. I'd rather be realistic than delusional or in denial. Anyway, I think I've ranted on long enough. If you guys liked this video or found it helpful, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to be in the loop for when I release new content. If you haven't already, be sure to follow me over on Instagram at Courtney Christine Ryan. I love connecting with all of you guys over on there as well. And if you're interested and you want to go read through the rest of the TikTok comments, be my guest. I felt like that scene in Mean Girls when Regina starts to fight in the school and she's just standing in the middle watching everybody. That is what I felt like, but I did it unintentionally. I was just reading through all the comments oh my gosh, we have a problem. Houston, we have a problem. So anyway, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I would love to hear your thoughts and perspective and opinions and get a conversation going down there. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.